My sister Sophia has something called PANDAs. Not that type of panda. Pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder associated with streptococcal infections. But what is that? PANDAs is a condition associated with the sudden onset of tics or OCD-like symptoms in young children. Although the exact cause is not known, it's thought to be an abnormal autoimmune response in which the body mistakes healthy brain cells for strep bacteria, like the one that causes strep throat or scarlet fever. The type of bacteria involved in PANDAs is called group A streptococcus bacteria, also known as gas bacteria. It grows in pairs and chains and has thick cell walls, which helps it to survive in harsh conditions. It spreads through respiratory secretions like coughing or sneezing. But how does such a common bacteria cause such an uncommon condition? Our B cells, which are a type of white blood cell, recognize bacteria through receptors on their surface. This then leads to an immune response. But group A streptococcus bacteria have a very creative way of tricking our B cells and avoiding detection. Gas bacteria employ a process known as molecular mimicry. This is a phenomenon where an external antigen resembles a self-antigen, causing the immune system to attack itself. Gas bacteria have a hyaluronic acid capsule that covers their surface. This capsule is identical to the hyaluronic acid that's in human tissue. Our B cells detect this hyaluronic acid and confuse the bacteria with human tissue. By doing this, the gas bacteria effectively camouflage themselves from an immune response. Well, right about now you might be thinking, okay, cool, so the bacteria camouflage themselves. But how does that lead to tics or OCD? We all have something called a blood-brain barrier, which acts as a sort of filter for us, separating blood and other materials from our brain's more delicate tissue. What happens in young children with PANDAs is their body recognizes gas bacteria as a foreign invader and initiates an immune response. This is the recruitment of those B cells I was talking about. These B cells then recognize the hyaluronic acid as a mark of a foreign invader and produce antibodies, which through an unknown mechanism cross over the blood-brain barrier into a part of our brain called the basal ganglia, which is responsible for motor control as well as learning and forming habits. These antibodies then bind to the hyaluronic acid in our brain, mistakenly flagging healthy neurons as foreign invaders and causing inflammation, disrupting the functions of the basal ganglia, causing tics and OCD-like symptoms. So, if it's our own B cells that are doing the harming, how do we even treat this condition? Well, that's a bit of a tricky question. While research is still ongoing, there has been a lot of promising data from many different types of treatments. One option is something called plasmapheresis, which is a method of filtering out our harmful autoimmune antibodies, like those B cells, from our blood. But for my sister, the simplest method worked best. Good old Advil. Anti-inflammatory drugs like Advil can actually help reduce the swelling in the brain that causes most of the symptoms. And if treated early and effectively, PANDAs can go into remission. So the next time you think of PANDAs, don't think of her. Think of these guys.